All right, welcome to Fatboy FadeAway Sports Podcast here on a Monday night, the after hours edition, week 2 of it, Tyler. Like you said, we're not going to count this as episode 56, it's a special category. I want to make that very clear, the after hour. And now we got a foursome. Wow, we got we got Casey now joining us over here in the Charles.
OG.
Yes. The OG of the podcast joining us first time in a while. Case, good to have you back. We're ready to talk a little Monday night. Maybe get into some differences we have about the Raiders as well. Hopefully, hopefully keep it clean. Maybe you won't get too upset with me. And yeah, glad to have you back.
Yeah, it's good to be back. I'm looking forward to it all day.
Confrontation sells. Confrontation sells.
Tyler always has to have a big mouth about that. Always you gotta get the stuff going. What did you guys originally, when we started this, we want to do at least, I say, reference the Monday night game. That's the whole point of it. Rodgers, he looked at least legit. He looked back, or is it like the Lions to me are just a JV team that the Packers get to beat up on once a year? It seems like they're. And why is this game on Monday night?
Twice a year.
Go ahead,
yeah,
Tyler.
I mean, this game was terrible.
You texted me the first 5 minutes of the game though that the Packers defense looked terrible, and then they showed up.
What they did, they got worked the first 2 series, I thought, of the game.
There's no way, Casey, you actually thought they were losing this game when it was 17-14.
No chance in hell. I mean, I was hoping it'd be competitive, but then it just all bad teams they find ways to lose. When they're kind of close, Jared Goff fumbles or the snap.
Oh.
You just can't do those things. That's just what bad teams do.
It's funny that you mentioned that Goff snap, because that's exactly what I was watching this thing Brian mentioned before he came on, this Eli Payton thing. And I don't know, did you watch any of it, Casey, the Eli Payton?
Pretty much, I probably watched 3/4 of the game on that.
Yeah, it's pretty good. And when I was watching it, they had Patrick Willis on, and the 2 Ole Miss guys going against the Tennessee guy, and it was pretty entertaining. And I like, as soon as that play happened with Goff and the fumble, sure enough, Peyton Manning, his reaction is he literally does that on the TV, and then he's like, "That's why you do the wet ball snap drills. They're really important." I was like, only Peyton Manning would have somebody spray water on a ball and do snaps with. Hey, kid, get over here and spray this football right now.
What do you guys think? What do you guys think of that broadcasting? You like it, or?
I like the Manning Eli thing. Brian, what do you think? You were the one that other watched it. Tyler, I know, did it.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's something different.
In my face.
I think it's pretty cool.
I just think it's different. I mean, they're not doing the game or anything, but I just think it's at least kind of different the way they break it down. They have guests on once in a while. What's special about the regular broadcast? Nothing really, right?
That's why I was kind of bored of it. I was like, let's switch it over because it'll at least be entertaining. And we're talking, they had Rob Gronkowski on for a little bit, and then they had McAfee at the end. It was just kind of funny, the stories, because it's more like watching with your buddies. So yeah, they talk about football, but I like kind of some of the stories that they tell.
Tyler,
the podcasts they're doing live on watching the game, and they have the rights to the game, so they can show it. It's entertaining. You can have guests. You can go off script. If the game's a bad game, you can just talk about other shit. I didn't watch it, but I like the idea of having 2 football minds who are also able to carry a conversation and have guests who people respect.
And the brothers, they have this natural.
I think it's the future of broadcasting.
Probably so. And it's and it's easy for people that just get out of the sport to get into it. Tyler, I wanted to get your thoughts on the Packers. This game doesn't matter, does it? Come on, this is a typical it doesn't matter type of.
No, just as much as week 1 doesn't matter to me for the Packers. Their division's so weak. They're gonna go 11-6, 12-5.
I gotta screw you guys over and go Raiders first talk again this week, unless you guys really want to get very forceful with it.
Ryan, how do you feel about that?
I don't think Niners Eagles deserve opening talk. The play
I knew we were going to go that direction, so I expected it.
And with that being said, I was over at Papa's Pizza. I'm watching the third and fourth quarter over there, and Derek Carr slings it downfield randomly for the big play,
The Henry.
and I just naturally right in front of everybody. I loved it right there. And then Derek's watching the game in front of him, saying, "Dad, I really like the Dolphins." And I was like, "Son, they're down 28-0. You might want to pick a different team this year." But Case, what'd you think? You're the other Raiders fan here. What'd you think of the game?
I thought it was a good game. I mean, I was just impressed with their defense. That's like the best I've seen in a long time. I mean, I don't even recall.
I've been harsh on it for sure.
Yeah, I was just, they have a lot more speed, like their secondary, like the rookie that they got from TCU, Abrams is healthy. Like they look a lot faster. They're more athletic. They actually look like they know what they're doing. Like they got that guy, Gus Bradley from the Seahawks for their coordinator. They're just running different defense. I mean, it's nice to actually have a pass rush with like 2 or 3 guys. Thank you, Solomon Thomas, for actually showing up. So
I
don't know. They look good.
Is that a Woodson or Lynch jersey?
That's a Woodson jersey.
Beautiful.
What?
What were you saying to me?
It was interesting to get Casey's take on what you mentioned last podcast, that Tyler, that Max Crosby's actually a legitimate player now on the Raiders. He does starting to get the feel of maybe he is actually legitimate. He's starting to get a steady rush every time. I don't know. I'm starting to get it. Maybe jump on the bandwagon with you.
I have faith in the Raiders offense. I think the Raiders offense is legit. They have real weapons in Edwards, Ruggs, Waller's unreal. And then Jacobs when he's healthy, and Drake is not a bad backfield. Carr is still, I don't have faith in him, but if you do, I can't fault you. He played great last week. They have the 2 best wins of the early season, but I still just don't see them. Max Crosby's legit. I still don't see them finishing much more than with 10 wins, which is still a good season, but we'll see.
Casey, you texted me on Twitter yesterday. You kind of called me out for making excuses about Carr. I mean, I got to be honest. I mean, he played well yesterday. I can't admit it, but like, there's still some throws out there where you got to admit that first game he wasn't very good, and like then he was good, and then that's my issue with him. So maybe he puts it together one year. I've always said he's the type of quarterback like Matt Ryan. He can get you to a Super Bowl. It just everything has to work out that one year. It's not going to be like a consistent thing every single year. Maybe this is that miracle season, but I still have to be proven to it. Make your point for why Carr has turned it around. I just don't see it.
He has weapons around him now. He has players that like you throw him the ball that can make plays like just on like a swing pass or, you know, a hook and turn it in from like a 5-yard gain to like a 20, 30-yard gain. They never had that. I mean, they just had like guys that like were just okay. They were nothing special. Like his best receiver he had for a while is Michael Crabtree. I mean, he was like on the latter part of his career. I mean, Amari Cooper, yeah, but then they got rid of him.
Yeah, Amari Cooper.
I don't know.
I mean, Carr's had a season where he would have won MVP if he didn't get hurt.
Yeah, exactly.
You would have won MVP that year?
Went down with a broken leg.
I feel like when you talk about Carr, Dan, you like talk like he's a bum. Like he's not good.
Well, he's been a bum kind of too at times. Like he's had great success, but he's been a bum at times too. But that could be weapons and stuff. Like it's just he's looked good these last 2 games. I can't say anything negative now.
Yeah, and I'll agree on the point. I'll agree, Dan, that like you can't go 6-3 to start off and then not make the playoffs. Like that's that doesn't help my case. But it's just I think they've kind of like got past that. It's your 4th year with John Gruden now, so it's kind of like make or break now. This year, I would think. This year they've got
4. It's year 6 now with him.
No, it's year 4 with Gruden.
Yeah, I think you count his previous stint when you use those years.
I don't know. I think he's been with us longer than that now.
No, that's true.
I think he's been with us longer than that. Carr, his record overall with the Raiders is 49-63. I mean, some of those, like we said, that first year doesn't really count. They were god awful his rookie year. So I'll give him a pass. I would say it's closer to 500. He's got 174 touchdowns in his career, 72 interceptions. I mean, Stats are good. It just I don't know. I guess I'm just gonna stay harsh on him. I want to see more when it matters. Can he stay healthy? He almost got hurt again. It looked like. So I know Matt's excited. I don't want to ruin the thunder here. I just gotta keep seeing it. Like the Dolphins next week. How can you can't lose to the Dolphins, right? It just can't happen.
That's a Raiders game. They can
Right?
lose.
Yeah.
If that was the Oakland Raiders, they'd come out there and they'd lose that game 21 to like 14 or something like that. Just terrible. So that's what I got to see, right? I have all these bad images in my head. I have a lot to work out, man. These Niner fans over here have like easy little playoff runs.
Casey said something I want to ask him about that he brought up earlier.
Yeah, what's that?
He said something about their defense, and like they didn't do that well against the Ravens, and they played the Steelers. They played great, but is that more Ben Roethlisberger and a poor O-line, or do you think?
I mean, Big Ben looks old. I ain't gonna lie. I mean, he doesn't.
He looks terrible.
Yeah, I mean, their offensive line was getting shredded pretty good too. So it's a bad combination.
Not looking good.
I mean, I just think they had more playmakers on like defense. Like they look, like I said, they look fast. Like Ngakoue is pretty good too on the right side, along with Crosby on the left, and then it's just like Hankins.
Thomas.
They feel like it's just more cohesive. Before, like I would like. You could see the screen, like watch how they line up. I'm like, this isn't gonna work. You can't run zone like the whole game. But I think it says a lot because the Ravens beat the Chiefs and the Raiders beat the Ravens, and their defense did a lot better, I thought, than the Chiefs' defense did against the Ravens.
True, they were at home though. But
yeah, but by that logic, you're saying like whoever beat the Saints is like 70 points better than the Packers.
No, I just meant like the containment, or like how they actually Lamar was amazing, but I just meant like I thought they did a pretty good job, like getting sacks and pressures on them. So I think that's the one difference. They're actually getting pressure. I've never seen them get with a 4-man rush in a long, long time.
You brought up Lamar. We talked about this last week. Would you rather have Lamar or Derek Carr?
I got into it with Darren a little bit, and we were texting back and forth. I would rather have Lamar just because he's a better playmaker.
Yes, exactly.
But I like Carr when it comes to in the pocket. I think he's a better passer.
That pass in the Bills playoff game just won't leave my head with Lamar, where I'm like, this guy can't be trusted.
Before we go back to Casey, let me get Brian's take on a Carr or Lamar. I feel like he wants to say so. Who do you got, Brian?
I would definitely go with Lamar just because his big play ability, and I don't know, he brings something to the table that's special. And I just don't think that, I mean, Carr is a decent quarterback, but I don't know. I'd just go with Lamar.
And to answer Casey's question one final time, and then Tyler, I'll let you say whatever. When you said I think he's above, well, I think that's just how I talk about people in general sometimes. It's like they're above. I know he's not a bum. I think on this podcast I've mentioned that I would rank him I think I did it like he's like number 18 out of all.
How much better is he than Garoppolo?
Huh?
Is he better than Garoppolo, Carr?
I had Garoppolo at 19. So they're right around that same category.
I have Carr at 12.
Yeah, see, I just don't see him in that echelon.
Like he's not on tier 1. He's not tier 1, but I think he's just as good, if not better, than Tannehill.
Yeah, I'd put him in Tannehill range, but I'm not high on Tannehill. I think Tannehill's way overrated.
For sure.
I don't think Tannehill's that great of a thrower. He needs somebody to run the ball to be considered, good.
Yeah. But being a Niners fan, Brian, would you rather have Carr or Garoppolo? I'd way rather have Carr. I think Carr is much better player than Garoppolo.
Yeah, I'd rather have Carr than Garoppolo.
Really saying a lot there. We're both our Bay Area teams. We both. I have them at 18-19. Switch them up. It doesn't matter. Switch them up. Why don't we take a break real quick there, and then we'll come back, kind of start maybe touch on the Niners real quick, get into some of our week 3, or some look back at some of the week 2 games here. All right, we're back here. Fatboy FadeAway Sports Podcast, reaction podcast. It was a good Raiders segment there. Always good to talk Raiders. Casey when they're 2-0. We might as well enjoy it now because if they lose to the Dolphins, all hell breaks loose next week. All right, we want to get into some of the. Yeah, exactly. We want to get into some of the other games from this week. Let's start with your Niners here. We'll get that touched on. It definitely wasn't a blowout like you were thinking, Brian, at all. Tyler, you
I
couldn't
didn't say a blowout. I said
You
we
said
would
a
win.
blowout. You said they were going to beat them by a lot. That's not true. You said that. You said they were going to beat them by a lot. Were you impressed with the win, or was it just kind of like get the win, move on?
I was impressed with the way that the defense kind of they changed up the way they did things, and they came to play in that game.
Tyler, you didn't seem to agree with that one.
They beat us 3-13 team last year by 5 points. It's supposed to be a Super Bowl roster.
Brian, say something.
I don't get what's going on. Why is Sherman getting 1 carry? Now he's hurt. Hasty gets hurt.
I'm just talking about the defense. You don't think they played really well?
I mean, they're playing a bottom 10 offense. But yeah, Nick Bosa showed up. He showed he's a stud. I like to see that. Yeah, I think there was signs of good things.
Philly always plays us tough because they're like, I would say, they're built similar to us. So I would just say
that's not a good sign for us this year, then.
Well, you guys
they're
Go ahead, Brian.
They're stacked on the defensive line, so they're not easy to run the ball on. That's all I'm saying.
I was curious to get your guys' thoughts on the running game. You guys ran 38 times, a ton of time for 117 yards. Now, I wouldn't say a great percentage there by any means, but they were able to do it over and over again. Big Mitchell gets the most carries. Any of the guys look better to you?
He gets hurt.
I don't know. Any of the guys look good to you at all? I mean, it just seems like you guys are going to have to remember how we talked about Frank Gore possibly coming back? It actually might happen.
All right.
At this rate.
Well, Alex, we're great at QB sneaks. Like, give him that. My most impressive run plays.
Tyler, this is kind of the thing I wanted to get was Hurts. You rip on him a lot. You had to not be impressed.
He actually made. I was actually impressed the first half, and then it kind of just all went away. I was like, "Wow, this is not very good." They tried the Philly special ed. It didn't work. No offense, but
I thought that changed the game around that 4th and goal when we stopped them. It kind of the momentum went on our side.
Definitely, for sure, no doubt about it. People at Papa's Pizza were pretty pumped up after that. They were feeling it after that play right there. Chase, any thoughts on the game?
You were there from 10 a.m. all the way to the Raider game. My God, Papa's loves you.
No, that's a different goal line place. I'm thinking about that. I'm thinking about the other goal line play that. I was not there at 10 a.m. I had pictures at 10:40. I was responsible. Go ahead, James.
I just feel like whenever you play like an NFC East team, it's just a sloppy game. Like, I don't know, maybe it just played down to their level, but just like, I don't know. It's I switched over to a couple times to watch the game. Obviously, the Raiders game was at the same time, so it's not much of an option. But when I did check in, it seemed like the Niners couldn't get anything going on offense like at all. And if they did, it was basically the Debo, and that was pretty much it. But I think Hurts is a good quarterback. I'm not saying great, but I mean he's better than Sudfeld or whatever they played. Sometimes.
He did have 10 carries for 82 yards and a touchdown. So he was able to do more than every time I watched him in the second half, he was always running away from pressure. So I'd say the Niners, it seemed like get to him a little bit more. Anything else you guys want to mention about the game, or do you want to get into some other ones here?
They haven't put together a full game yet. They've had one game of offense, one game of defense.
So you sound pretty pissed off about the start of the season. You don't seem very happy.
It's a very unimpressive 2-0. I'm happy with the 2-0, but they haven't played great. Brian, carry on.
Brian, you get one more.
I mean, it's like it's like the Facebook. I'm part of a group on Facebook, and they're the same way. They're just such a negative fan base. I mean, you could be 3-0, and they pick apart the negative stuff. I don't know.
It's kind of surprising I'm not a Niners fan.
It's not all rainbows and butterflies, Brian. There's real struggle out there. They can't get it together.
Are Daren and Tyler?
I don't know. It seemed like even in 2019, Casey's right that when you play NFC East teams, we played Washington that year, and it was kind of an ugly game, but we won it. I mean,
It also
it's
was
about
raining
winning.
12 inches an hour.
Oh, that game was ridiculous. Yes, I remember that one. That one was a mud. The NFC East actually went 2-2 this week.
12
overall.
inches an hour. It was 3
It
feet
wasn't
of
that bad.
rain.
It wasn't a monsoon. But it was not.
Roger,
I remember when
You will play this
Bosa
game
took that
now.
slide on the water.
Just swimming to the quarterback to get sacked.
They had a good drainage
What a
system.
backstroke. What a backstroke. All right, like I mentioned, the NFC East goes 2-2 this week.
That is why they
overall.
call it the swim move.
That is why. That is why. The Cowboys were able to win this week, and so were the Washington football team. So they go 2-2. Let's go to
Can
the
we
Cowboys.
get into the Cowboys game? The end of that
Yes,
game,
that's
or
what I
the
wanted to
whole
talk
fourth
about.
quarter?
Because your Super Bowl pick also lost the Chargers to the,
So
the Cowboys.
how are you feeling, Tyler, about the Chargers going to the Super Bowl?
I'm feeling better this week than I was last week.
Oh my
They got
gosh.
They got 2 touchdowns taken away. They had a sack on the 4-yard line taken back at the 15-yard line, which was the worst call I've seen since the Tuck rule, if it was in an important game. Terrible call. How do you call that a sack? Did you guys see the play? You know what I'm talking about?
Yes, I know what you're talking about.
Do you agree that was a terrible
I agree
call?
with you. That was not a
That's
good call.
pathetic. How do you call that? And then they called like a holding to play with. It was just, I don't know. It looked like
So
the
you actually
kick
blame the
was
refs.
in.
Then. You're really blaming the refs.
I mean, it's hard not to.
The Chargers take no responsibility for this win.
No, they played them tough. I mean, the Cowboys aren't bad. The Cowboys actually are pretty good this year.
It's just
They'll be
typical
decent.
Chargers. Typical Chargers. How do we lose? I don't know. Let's
I'm
find
going, it's right in front of them. That call was horrendous.
And they got to play at the Chiefs next week, who just came off a loss, so that doesn't look good for them.
That Parsons guy.
Then they got to play the Raiders.
He looks to be legit.
Who?
Parsons from Penn State.
Oh,
Tony
okay.
Romo's butt buddy, who was just giving him love all game. Look at this guy. He's all over the field. Defensive end, middle linebacker. Micah Parsons.
He did play well. I mean, come on.
He did. You're right. He played good. He looks
You
good for a
don't-
rookie.
You don't like it because you're jealous of Romo. You don't like Brian likes his Romo. That's the reason. You don't want to mention anybody else. Any other games you guys like that you wanted to get into this week before I go into a little rant here?
I just loved how the the Seahawks blew that game. I was like, man, you don't see that often in Seattle too. Like,
No.
I mean that.
That was great.
Only the-
Henry's a beast, dude.
He is.
So
Yeah,
good.
let me take that back. I don't whatever I said before about Derek Henry having a bad year. Throw it out the window. I'm an idiot.
Casey,
Really?
Casey, before you continue, I just wanted to throw out that was only the second time in the Pete Carroll era that the Seahawks have blown a 14-point lead ever.
That's crazy.
Wow.
So
Yeah.
that tells you how good they've been in the division. So Niners fans, Brian and Tyler, you guys must have loved seeing that.
Yeah, I enjoyed every minute of it.
Ryan, for your prediction, you could have been 8-0 in the NFC West.
I know. I was thinking of Brian with that. Casey, did you know that Brian picked all 4 NFC West teams to make the playoffs?
No, I did not. That seems a little biased.
And he picked every Niner to win every award.
Who looks better than, like, I mean, they're like, it's just a throw up with everything else in the league, a throw up year. I mean, I don't know. I just
Brian,
don't
you actually
see
might be
I don't
right.
see the Saints doing it. I don't see the Falcons doing it.
Oh, the
I
Saints
don't
look pathetic. They looked horrible.
Yeah.
My gosh. You talk about reverse. That was bad, Jameis, that day. Casey, remember last year we kept talking about that?
I did call him the 8, so give me some love. You hated on it last week.
Hey, it's only
Right
1-1. Only 1-1.
Yeah.
It's still early.
You know who looks like
That's
really
not good
good?
enough.
You know who looks really good? The Jets.
No, Jimmy
So-
Clausen. Jimmy. I've been calling that one too.
The Bills, the Jets have lost to the Patriots 9 straight times now. That means for 4.5 seasons they've lost every game. So that's bad.
Did Zach Wilson look like Jimmy Clausen? Anyone else?
He does with the little headband. There's 4 interceptions for him. Not a good look. The Niners, Saleh, right? Coach of the Jets. He's got to be scratching his head and no hair, I guess, at that point. What did you guys think of the Colts? The Colts Rams. We all picked the Rams, I think.
I took the Colts.
Besides you, because you have the Colts in the playoffs, so you had to take them. Wentz. I feel like every year this week now he's got. He's
2 sprained ankles.
Dude, that's just one. That's sprained ankles. Brian, how do you get 2 sprained ankles?
I don't know how you do that. I mean, the guy's just banged up every year, dude. Every year.
I mean, you got to be pretty tough to play through the first sprained ankle.
Yeah, but he didn't even finish the last 2 minutes of the game, though. I was like, man, I'd be pissed. Like, I don't know. You just kind of need the man up. Like, I don't know. I know it probably
with
hurt.
2 sprained ankles. My God, that's like Eminem when he's like, I got 2 broken legs trying to walk it up.
Phillip Rivers played with a torn ACL. Come on.
That's playoffs.
Tyler, he's
talking about playoffs.
Instead of running, he's like hopping like a bunny.
Byron Leftwich and Marshall, he's getting carried by his own lineman.
Byron, yeah.
He can't even do anything. He's just hopping around. Like he's just like I can't do anything with it. He's just roll around. Get this man out of here. I thought the Colts look bad.
They don't look good.
Last year they kind of came back and figured it out too. Jaguars, or Tyler. What's the coach's name again? Why am I blanking?
Urban
can't be feeling good. Should have kept Tebow. You could have used him today. Lawrence 5 minutes, not looking good. The Texans actually playing quality, a little quality here, a little surprising. Tyler, you called upset. I was definitely checking it out. They covered the spread. If you would have picked,
gave them a scare.
They did,
but Ty, he got hurt, and now they're going to have to go with some unknown on a short week against the Panthers.
Unknown. He's from Stanford, Brian. You should know
that. he's the 3rd string quarterback. He's going to get destroyed. It's going to be a blowout. The Panthers are going to win easily.
Oh, Brian.
Does that say something about the Jets? You have Darnold looking like he's like a really good quarterback. These first 2 games anyway, he looks like a good quarterback. I don't know if we believe in him yet.
There's franchises that just can't figure it out. And they're one of them, and so is the football team.
He's probably thinking, this McCaffrey guy's hella good. A lot better than what I had with on the Jets.
Brian, I'd be remiss if I didn't mention the Cardinals. 2-0, game of the day with the announcers doing it.
Did you get lucky on that one, man? Did you get
game
really
of the day.
lucky?
I mean, if it's nothing else, Gus Johnson just makes it the game of the day. When it's there, you know what I mean? Like just alone in a game like that, Gus and Talib's good too. Actually, I enjoy him
Talib's
as well.
Great.
So the 2 of them is make a good combination, and they made that Vikings Cardinals game feel like an NFC Championship game. The way they announced those games, they missed it.
I definitely missed Gus to an NFL game.
First time in 11 years they said he had done a game, an NFL game. So that was pretty crazy. I know he's done a few college games. Definitely one of the best. Wanted to shout that out here for people that didn't know he's back on.
Did you hear the Minnesota announcer? He messed
up.
He's like, it's good. And the guy next to him is like, oh no. He's like, oh, he missed it. I was like, I'd be so pissed if I was listening on the radio, like, ah! And then he's like, oh wait, he did miss it. I was like, what? You can't say you made it, but go back on.
I always remember the Minnesota guys call from the one where they missed against the Seahawks. Oh no, he missed it right. There he was like a 28-yard. It wasn't even a far kick.
Blair Walsh.
He made it. Yeah, he missed it right. Oh no, you gotta be kidding me. He's like I'm super pissed. Yeah, the Vikings announcer gets into it. They're not looking good. I think you guys said he might be the first coach fired for your predictions. You might be right. I think it was you, Brian, that called it.
Yeah, I said that one.
So the Cardinals might look like the best team in the division right now. What do you think? Niners, Rams,
That's
Cardinals,
the stupidest thing I've heard.
What team? What team?
But
What team,
they almost lost to the Vikings. The Vikings suck. They should have lost to the Vikings.
what team are we liking still? The Niners, Rams. Rams are looking pretty good, right?
Rams look the best the first 2 weeks.
Yeah, I'd say.
Yeah, I'd say the Rams are 1 and the Niners are 2.
Case, what team stood out to you this week?
Just overall,
Nation.
Yeah.
man, it's just the Chiefs. To be honest, I mean they're so good. I know
The
that.
loss?
Even in a losing effort.
I mean, Edwards-Helaire fumbled, so I mean that was a huge play. I mean,
That's true. They should have won that game.
they just look unstoppable. I mean, Travis Kelce's a freak. I mean, that catch and running.
46-yard touchdown and then just.
I don't know. I mean, Mahomes made kind of a weird throw, like just falling down and through. So I mean, I don't know. They look like the Dodgers of the baseball. Like they're just so talented. It's just like when they lose, it's kind of like, yeah, they'll win next week.
Doesn't Mahomes feel like Favre on steroids?
Yeah.
Like he's just
I
like
feel
a
like
souped up version of him.
This is good. It's just different generation.
Yeah, but I mean, it's a little faster. He's got a little bit more speed to him. I don't know. That's what I think.
You brought up Kelsey. Hold on. You brought up
Go ahead.
Kelsey. Is he better? Is he better than Gronk in Gronk's prime?
Oh,
Quick.
man. I don't
You
know.
could
Gronk,
take one guy real quick.
I say Gronk's still the man. He's a beast.
Yeah, Gronk for those 5 years is pretty crazy.
I mean, he didn't even retire here. Like Peyton
Kelsey
Manning.
just stays healthier. That's only.
Yeah, like Gronk, like you could literally just do an inside slant with him. It's like throw it like anywhere. You know what I mean? Like it didn't even matter. Just like a fade, he was just massive.
I mean, the top four tight ends are both in the Bay Area: Kittle and Waller, and then Kelsey,
And then Hawkinson.
Yeah, definitely Hawkins.
Yeah.
Hey, let's take one little final quick break here, and then let's come back with a little week 3, and then I kind of want to play a game here. Guess the over under on some of these week 3 games coming up here. All right, we're back here on the Fatboy FadeAway Sports Podcast. Last segment here on Monday night after hours podcast. Thanks for joining us again here. A good week 2. It really starts to crank up now. Week 3, week 4, we start to kind of see the teams that are more real here. Who's fake? Let me look real quick at some of the games ahead. Let me get your thoughts. What you guys, and just jump in with any thoughts here. Some games that jump out to me right away are the Ravens, Lions. No, I'm just kidding.
That game jumps out at you?
That's a bad game.
Ryan, you shut
Yeah, exactly.
the game that jumps out to me immediately, because it always does, Casey. I think it would for you too, because it'll be on CBS in the morning. I'd be stunned if it's not. Chargers at Chiefs. And to me, that's the one of the early morning games of the day.
Go Chargers, go.
Tyler, who do you got?
Where's it at? Chiefs?
Yep, it's at 10 a.m. That's his.
Kansas City. I got the Chiefs.
Ryan?
Chiefs are good. They're too good.
Yeah, I'm going with Kansas City in this game.
Case, Chiefs.
Taking the chefs all day.
Tyler, 1 and 2, your Chiefs or your Chargers. Then they'll have to make a little comeback here.
It's all right. I wasn't expecting them to win this game anyway.
Kind of an interesting game to me. Saints at Patriots. Winston, you never know with him. You know what I mean? Peyton's a good coach. They had a real dud. I feel like their better game. I'd be stunned if they played as bad as they did last week. Doesn't mean they'll win. It kind of makes me not sure. I definitely won't be betting this game in any way imaginable. What do you guys think? Patriots, Saints, kind of early thoughts. Brian, you go first.
I'll probably take the Saints in this game. This seems like a game the Patriots would draw.
They're actually a 3-point dog at this point.
In New England?
Yep, Vegas has them as a 3-point dog.
I wouldn't think they would be an underdog in that game.
The Saints, they are.
I'm taking the Patriots. Bill Belichick versus Jameis Winston. That's got turnovers written all over it.
In New England, yeah, that's scary. Possibilities there.
If I'm the Saints, I'm playing Taysom Hill, and I'm just running the rock. I'm giving the ball to Kamara a bunch. I'm not throwing with Winston. I've lost all faith in Winston. He's a bub. And Just take it like
Back
have
on
like
the
a
bum
Ricky
thing.
with Taysom Hill.
This will be Tyler next week. I come back. I apologize, James.
No more apologies.
No. Brian, just because of your jacket, I always like the logo. I feel like the Bengals Steelers game kind of matters a little bit because I have the Steelers going. And
To who?
you can't lose the Bengals. You can't lose to the Bengals. You can't lose to the
No,
Bengals.
I gotta go with the Steelers in that game too.
I kind of feel like the Bengals are a little scarier now that they got that Chase guy though. Like Tyler, I love your theory on the wide receiver quarterback combination with the draft. It makes perfect sense.
Kind of fell flat in the second week.
Yeah, but I still feel like
Yeah,
the possibilities for breakouts are good. Any games you guys are looking forward to or anything?
And I always
Of
look forward
course,
to
Sunday night.
Niners, Packers, of course. That's the game of the.
Yeah, that's a good game.
I don't know what
Bucks,
What's
Rams.
Hey, no, quick question on the Niners. Quick answers from all three of you. We'll start Daren, then Casey, then Brian. What's the over/under on Niner rush attempts against the Packers?
what's the number.
No,
You
he
make up
said-
your own number that you'd set it at.
Tyler,
I'd
can I
say
be can I be a jerk?
I'd say
and say the number?
35.
You can do whatever you want.
I say 35.
Definitely 30. I'd say 40.
Would you take
No,
the over
I'll
or the
probably-
under on 40? Because I'm
I'll-
taking the
I'll-
under.
I'll take the under. I'll say they rush 25 times.
25 in the
I
first
think-
quarter.
I'd go like 32. But
I think they're gonna throw the ball more against the Packers. Personally,
I think the
will we
question
see
is,
Trey Lance, Brian?
no Trey Lance.
will Garoppolo throw 10 passes? That's the question.
He couldn't make it that high in the playoff, man.
Also, honestly, the game of the week probably though, just because it's in LA, Bucks at Rams, 125 start on Fox. Hopefully, Gus is doing the game, but I'm sure it will be Troy and our boy. What's the guy? What's his name? I get
Joe Buck.
They'll be doing the.
But
What do you guys think? I kind of, if the Rams win this one, it's one of those games where for them it feels like it would give them a pretty big lift confidence-wise. I kind of feel like it's more important for them. What do you think, Case?
I think it's more important for the Rams, but I mean the Bucks playing a pretty crappy division, so I don't think one loss is going to hurt too much. But just for confidence-wise, I think it'd be huge. But I don't know, man. The way Tom Brady's playing, man, the Bucks. I mean, they're loaded. They got four number one receivers like Brown, Count Gronk as one, Evans, Godwin. I mean, they're stacked. I mean,
Do you think he really eats Subway sandwiches? Does he really eat them? Like that's kind of my question with Tom. Does he really eat? I don't buy it, Brian.
There's no chance
no,
in hell he's
I
eating
don't
a Subway sandwich.
wheat bread covered in avocado.
Does it seem like Tom Brady's out to set a record this year? They're doing some weird stuff on the goal line where he's throwing the ball. They're not
Like, what do
handing
you-
it off.
They're just trying to throw it for the
What do you
most
mean?
touchdowns
They're
ever.
throwing the ball. Yeah, like set a record, like trying to prove, like put some.
Who has the record?
Yeah. Peyton Manning, 55.
I wouldn't be surprised. They have a lot of receivers.
I think he's in that FU mode. Like this is my last year with this loaded of a roster. Because like Casey said, this is loaded as far as weapons. Godwin, Evans, and Brown are the best three you could probably get.
And he's got decent tight ends too, right?
Oh yeah,
Like-
great.
like that.
Gronkowski looks like he came back from spring break last year. He's just like ready to rock and roll. It's just like playing in that weather too. Shit, they're probably loving it.
All right, so that's the game of the week. I feel like Cardinals Jet. No, just kidding. Right?
I think if the Bucks get through these next 2 weeks, Rams Patriots, they could be going undefeated or trying.
20-0.
I'm looking at the.
I'm talking regular season. I'm not talking post.
They still have to play the Bills, but it's at home. Yeah, you're right. They got to go to New Orleans. You never know there. They got to go to the Eagles. No, just kidding. You gotta go.
I mean, they'll have close games. It's football. No one plays defense. So
All right, let me just do a quick couple over unders on you guys before we get out of here, just for next week for people that I like to just kind of get people's thoughts on it. All right, Eagles Cowboys Monday night. First of all, how do we feel, Brian, about this Monday night matchup? Are we kind of feeling crappy about it? Or is this a typical ESPN, trying to get ratings play here that we used to rip on while Casey is watching Chuck Norris?
I don't know. I think it's a lot better than this week's matchup. I actually think.
Well, yeah, as the Lions, for God's sake. So yeah, better than that. But I'm just saying, I'm saying, why aren't the Bucks and Rams on? I guess that's what I'm trying to say. Why is this the best matchup we can get?
Because
I mean, I
NFL
don't
likes to
know.
put their lips over Jerry Jones's, you know what?
Tell me how you really feel, Tyler.
Am I wrong? Or am I wrong?
It's like filtered a little bit, Tyler. Filter it.
It's after hours, baby.
This is after hours podcast, man. We're a little bit more open here. All right.
I mean, it's true though. I mean, why are the Cowboys always on? I don't understand. They suck. Like they haven't done anything for a while.
Honestly, Casey, right? The Packers Lions shouldn't have been the game this week either. It's pathetic.
Felt like a Thanksgiving game.
Yes, exactly. All right. Eagles are a 4-point underdog. Who would you take? Tyler, I'm going to let you get this.
I think the Cowboys are actually pretty good this year, as much as I hate to admit it.
Okay, so you would take the Cowboys to win that overall. All right. Brian, let me give you another game here. Bills -9. So they're 9-point favorites against the football team. Do they win by more than 9?
Yes.
More?
Give me a reason why.
You want a reason why? Because they're a lot better football team than Washington.
What makes them the better
want
football team?
You sound so confident saying it, just like, yeah, why the hell are you asking me this question? Of course.
Yeah, just give me
And
something.
they supposed to be called the Redskins. They're not.
No,
what kind
hey!
of football team? Come on.
Brian, why do you have to always go there? With
We're
that?
not going there. That's not what we wanted.
You can tell we're at the end of the podcast. You can tell we're at the end of the podcast here. We're getting a little loose here at the end. All right, Casey, this is what I got for you. Seahawks, Vikings. This should be an easy one, I feel like, for you. At home against the Vikings. The Seahawks are at Minnesota. Vikings are 1-point underdog. Who do you got?
1-point underdog?
Yeah, Vikings are.
I'm taking the Seahawks for sure.
Yeah, me too. That's a great line.
Especially after coming off the loss they just had. Nah, yeah.
I might take that right now. With those odds right now. Does that seem crazy to you?
Yeah, it seems wild. I don't get it.
The one right now that I see at the biggest advantages. I think I might be tempted to take the Jets. Actually, as the Jets are 10.5-point underdogs against the Broncos. I might take that. I might take that.
I tried to ride the Jets last year and it never worked out.
And you hate Jimmy Clausen even more.
I hate Jimmy Clausen. The Broncos defense is pretty legit. With the Patrick Surtain draft, these looked good. Yeah, I think 10's a lot. I'd probably get Jets, but I think
they're getting a plus 440. They're getting. If you would bet 100, you could win $445 though. If you pick the,
you got $100. I can bet on. I don't got.
I don't
bet on the Jets.
I don't have the money there for that one.
This is a little off topic, but don't you feel like the safest bet is just to pick a straight up pick 'em on Alabama, like every single game except for like one maybe?
Like just put $1,000 on it.
Yeah, and you win like probably like 1,000 or or
No,
500.
you wouldn't win that much. You'd
win like 150.
I don't know.
But you're right. There would be certain games you would come out more even, like the ones where they're like -110 favorites or something like that. Yeah.
No, let's pick them if it's -110.
Well, that's what I mean. But it's still like you're betting 1,000. It's still like you're not getting 1,000 back. You get 900 or something like that. Yeah. And you know what? You probably would be right if you did that every year. There was one guy that I saw last year. He parlayed like from a year before that. He parlayed the Crimson Tide to win and the Dodgers to win the World Series, and he ended up winning that. I was like, that's pretty good. Pretty good picks right there. Long term.
You're gonna bring up the Crips and the Bloods for a second.
We're going real
The Crips and died.
We're going real deep here on it. I was trying to get the Niners one here. They might not have the Niners. I don't think they have the Niners up right now still. No, they don't. They're
That's because you hate the 49ers. I knew it.
no, they don't have a Sunday night game up. That's not because I hate it. They don't even have the Raiders Dolphins. They don't even have the Raiders Dolphins.
I saw the Bucks are trying to sign Richard Sherman.
Can I ask you guys a ridiculous question right here for our last question? You know how like we can't say Native American names anymore, which racially you can't. Do you think they're all maybe. Do you think
You can say whatever you want.
Do you think there'll ever come a time?
You want to say Native
Do
American?
you think there'll ever come a time in our nation, like maybe 200 years from now, that we'll have to take away names like the Dolphins and stuff because of PETA?
Fuck you.
They'll be like, yeah, we cannot have these names anymore. They are offensive to these animals. This is not allowed anymore. I always think that might be a possibility at all.
And there's been a lot of names changed, if you think about it. There has.
We have to get rid of that one. Too bad the Lions are not. It's too. We can't do that anymore.
They're too mean in the wild. They kill too many animals.
We have to get rid of them. All right. Well, that's all I got. You got anything else, T? Casey, Brian?
Just
Anything?
enjoy.
Okay.
Tyler, wrap us. You got anything before we get out of here?
I'm good.
Catch the
All
main event of WWE tonight. We got a little time left.
We'll have to have you back on the regular podcast here, Case. We'll also get your new A&W thoughts here.
And
I know. I don't like to call it that. AW. What's it called? AWE? Your thoughts on that?
AEW.
Brian, maybe you.
Last time we tried to have all four of us do a wrestling one, Brian sent me mean messages afterwards saying how fat my mom was, and how ugly I was.
Whoa, getting personal on that one. We definitely need to do one. We
I'm
definitely
just kidding. Brian was nothing but respectful, and I had to apologize that we couldn't even post the episode because I was so rude.
We should. I definitely think we should do one though, a wrestling one with you guys though for sure. Not with me. I don't know anything, but I can at least be there to just make funny comments on the way around. All right, well, let's go on. We'll be back next week after the Cowboys or Eagles at Cowboys. Hopefully, it'll be a pretty good game next week. NFC East game probably tells us it won't be a good game. So,
fly, Eagles fly.
Until then, Casey, thanks for joining us again. We'll see you next week.
Guys.
Later, guys.
Ryan, take it easy. Tyler, peace. Later.